Okay, so here's a lap around Bathurst in the Acura. I was able to get a 201.3. I think a high 2 is possible. I was on par for a 201 on this lap and lost it at the final sector. But yeah, I think on a perfect lap, I think you can get a high 2, but you're really pushing the limits to get that. You'll see I'm I'm running the ever living crap out of this car to try and get that time. But we'll watch it and then we'll go through and do a guide. All right, here is a 201.3. Let us run back through. I'm braking pretty much in between the 150 mark, so probably about 75. And I'm really trying to focus on waiting for power until I'm ready to go full throttle. I don't want to get to throttle too early, have to lift just to make the turn not go too wide. Here, I'll show you. I want to be able to stay full power this entire exit. If you get to power too early and start pushing out wide, you're going to have to lift and then get back on power, and that's going to ruin all your momentum and speed down this straight. So try to wait for power until you're ready to go full throttle. This white wall is usually my braking marker. I'm going to, same as before, try to brake all the way through, and as I'm making my rotation in, I'm going to wait for power until I can pretty much go back to full power and not have to lift, because going uphill, having to do any slight lift to not push wide and hit this wall is going to ruin any momentum you're going to carry up and through this corner. I'm pretty close to the wall here. Yeah, I'm pretty much touching the wall, and I actually do that quite a lot this run. That's why I'm saying it's possible to get a high 2, but you're going to be pushing the limits everywhere. Yeah, I'm really close there. As soon as I round this turn and get the car pointed in a straight position, I'm going to brake, but I'm not going to brake very hard. I'm going to brake, I want to say it's maybe around 40 or 50% and slowly trail off, because you want to be able to keep carrying momentum up and through that left-hander right here. Hold on. So yeah, initial pressure was like maybe 60, 70, and then bleeding off to that 40 just to keep the car slowing down. It's uphill, so you're able to scrub speed quicker with less brake, but you don't want to scrub too much speed. You want to, let's see, let's do this in slow-mo. You want to bleed off. You want to keep carrying momentum up and through, and you want to be back to power probably right around this area. Try to hug this wall as tight as you can. Back to power. In the Acura, you can get to power pretty soon. There is a slight bump right here in the road, and if you push out too wide, I think it's more pronounced right here. If you push out too wide, the car can unsettle itself and spin and loop. And right here, try not to get on this curbing. There's another lip right here. I typically want to be half a car length to the left of where I am right now, but I did push wide on the exit before. So try not to hit this inside curb. And if you do, just be careful right here. It may unsettle the car. You'll see the car bounce when I hit it. See that bounce right there in another car. This car seems to be planted on power. Another car could lose traction, like the BMW or Mercedes or something like that can probably lose traction and spin right there. Here, from here on out, it's pretty much wide open throttle until the top of the mountain. Trying to take these corners with as little steering input as possible, not only to keep the tires fresh, but not to scrub speed. Usually when I'm hitting fifth, it's timed perfectly for the gearing of this car, but as soon as I'm hitting fifth, there's compression right here, and I'm using this to rotate the car through this corner. So I'm pushing out wide, and as soon as I hit this compression, I'm just turning back into the inside apex. I did do a slight lift there because I turned in slightly too early. So I did a slight lift right there because I didn't want to hit that curbing and push out wide. I mean, that was maybe 95%. So it didn't really do any detriment to the speed I was carrying. And then here I'll do a slight lift as well. I don't want to lift. I don't want to lift too much. The car is still rotating under partial throttle, just to keep momentum up. Going down the mountain, I am trying to carry as much speed around the top and then get to the braking point, and you're really just it's just slow, methodical braking. You might oscillate a little bit here and there. You're not hard on brakes. It's a long stretch that you're slowly braking down. If you over brake the car, you will lose a ton of speed. But it is a pretty sketchy part of the track, especially with the multi-class that's going to be here. So for me, what I do, oh, that's too slow. I'll lift, brake heavy, lift a little bit, brake heavy again, get the car stopped, and I want to hug. I'm trying to hug as close as I can to this inside because that's going to allow me more of a direct line out of here and go back to full power. I want to be as close. Actually, we'll watch this in chase view. I want to be as close to this end curb as this wall as I can, but turning and angling as far left as I can because it's hard to explain. We'll watch it in fast and go slow. See, I'm all up on that wall, but that's needed in order to carry speed. And I could have actually stuck more of my nose on this inside curb on the left. get the car rotated, and I'm back to power. I can take a little curb there. It doesn't unsettle the car, but it's ideal for overall pace to get yourself set up so when you go back to power, I've got the wheel turning left and I'm back to power in order to get as close as I can to the right wall. That just allows you to not have to lift and just be able to carry more speed through this whole complex. Forced elbow's tricky. You don't want to over brake. You just want to hold a slight pressure all the way into the apex. You want to hold it. You want to hold that inside wall really tight, because if you push out too wide, you're going to have to rotate the car more. You can't get back to power as soon as you'd like, and that's a very long straight. So it's probably the most crucial corner on this track. Hugging that inside wall. Back to power before the apex. I think this was another one I got very close to the wall. Yep. But it's needed in order to carry speed, momentum. And this is where I think up to that point that was a pretty solid lap. This is where I lost maybe 2/10. I broke too early here, and you'll see what happens. I broke too early, and I had to release the brake way sooner than I wanted to keep rolling through, and I actually hit this inside curb. If you don't hit the curb, if you brake a little bit later and you're able to trail brake properly out of this turn, you can be back to power sooner and not hit the curb. And I think actually I'm going to go to the 2017 because I think that was a better exit through here, and I'll show you what a good run through there would look like. So let's finish this lap and I'll go to the 2017 because I think that was the lap that was better. This was an okay turn, but I hit the inside curb. You want to try to stay off the curbs as much as possible. So let's see. Let's go back here. All right. See how much smoother and power, like the power delivery was much smoother. The entry into the apex was much smoother. It was just a much better run. So let's see where I'm braking. So there's a 150 board. Just about that 120 board, 120, 125 board is where I'm braking. Back to full power. Carried all the way through. And I think I also missed the curb here, which allowed me a better exit. Yeah. I had a slight lift, but it was able to carry more momentum than hitting the rumble strip and having the car jump around. So curbs can definitely ruin your pace here. So try to not touch them if possible. Don't jump over them. There may be some cars that can handle them better, but the Acura definitely loses momentum if you're on them. But that's a 2013. I'll try to get a McLaren GT4 video up as well, but I at least wanted to get this one done for today so y'all could have one.